The morning sun filtered through the kitchen curtains, casting warm patterns across the breakfast table. Sarah poured coffee into 2 mugs, the familiar ritual providing comfort in its monotony. Her phone buzzed for the 3rd time in 5 minutes, the screen lighting up on the counter. She ignored it, focusing instead on the scrambled eggs she was plating. "Who is that?" Michael's voice was casual, almost disinterested, as he reached for his coffee. Sarah's hand trembled slightly. "Who's who?" "The person who keeps texting you. I've noticed it for weeks now. Always late at night. The phone keeps lighting up on your nightstand." He took a sip, his eyes meeting hers over the rim of the mug. "Who is that man?" The plate slipped from Sarah's hands, clattering against the counter but not breaking. Her carefully constructed composure shattered instead. Tears welled up in her eyes, spilling over before she could stop them. 6 months of pressure, fear, and isolation came crashing down in that single moment. "Michael, her voice broke. She gripped the counter's edge, knuckles white. "I should have told you sooner. I was scared you wouldn't believe me." Michael was on his feet immediately, concern replacing his casual curiosity. "Sarah, what's wrong? What's happening?" She couldn't look at him. The shame was too heavy. His name is David. He's someone from work. At least, that's how it started. The words tumbled out between sobs. He seemed friendly at first. "We worked on a project together about 8 months ago. Then he started messaging me. Just work stuff initially, but then it got personal." Michael guided her to a chair, kneeling beside her. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because it's humiliating." Sarah's voice rose, years of independent strength crumbling. "I'm a grown woman, a manager at my company, and I couldn't handle some guy sending messages. I thought I could deal with it myself. I told him I was married, that his attention was unwelcome. But he didn't stop." She pulled out her phone with shaking hands, scrolling through messages. Michael's jaw tightened as he read them. They started innocently enough, comments about work, friendly greetings. Then they shifted. Compliments that crossed professional lines. Questions about her personal life. Messages sent at midnight, at 2 in the morning, asking if she was awake, if she was thinking about him. "Sarah, this is harassment. Why didn't you report him?" "I tried." The frustration in her voice was palpable. "I went to HR 3 months ago. They said they'd investigate, but nothing happened. David told them we were friends, that I was misinterpreting friendly conversation. His smooth, Michael. His charming. He made me look paranoid." The messages grew darker as Michael scrolled. David knew things: what Sarah wore to work, which route she took to her car, what time she left the office. "I know you're reading this," one message said. "You can't ignore me forever. We have a connection, Sarah. You feel it too." "He's been following you," Michael said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "I know. I see his car sometimes. Different parking spots, but always there." Sarah wiped her tears, a hollow laugh escaping. "I started leaving work with colleagues, taking different routes home. I stopped going to the gym I loved because he showed up there. And the worst part? I felt like I was going crazy. Like maybe I was overreacting." Michael pulled her into his arms. "You're not crazy. This man is stalking you." "There's something else," Sarah whispered against his chest. "Something I need to tell you. About David." Michael pulled back to look at her face. "What is it?" Sarah's phone buzzed again. They both looked at the screen. The message read, "Good morning, beautiful. Tell Michael I said hello. The eggs look perfect today." The blood drained from Michael's face. "Sarah, how does he know what you're making for breakfast?" Sarah's eyes widened in horror as they both turned toward the kitchen window. The curtains shifted slightly in a breeze that shouldn't have existed. The window was open, just a crack, but open nonetheless. Neither of them had opened it. Michael moved toward the window, but Sarah grabbed his arm, her fingernails digging into his skin. "Don't," she gasped. "Please, just don't." He stared at her, understanding and horror dawning simultaneously. How long has he been watching the house? I don't know. Weeks, maybe. Her voice was barely a whisper. I started noticing little things. The window in the bedroom open when I was sure I'd closed it. The porch light on when I turned it off. Things moved just slightly, a picture frame tilted, a book not quite where I'd left it. Michael's hands clenched into fists. We're calling the police. Right now. I already did, Sarah admitted, her shame deepening. Twice. They came, took a report, drove around the neighborhood. But there's never any proof. No cameras catch him. No neighbors see anything suspicious. David's too smart for that. He leaves just enough doubt that everyone thinks I'm paranoid or stressed from work. Michael paced the kitchen, his mind racing. He'd noticed Sarah's behavior changing over the past months. The way she checked locks obsessively, her startled reactions to ordinary sounds, her reluctance to be alone. He'd attributed it to work stress, encouraging her to relax, to not worry so much. The guilt hit him like a physical blow. You said there's something else about David. Something you needed to tell me. Sarah's composure cracked further. This was the part she'd been dreading, the truth she'd buried under layers of rationalization and fear. David isn't just a co-worker, Michael. I mean, he is now, but that's not how I know him. Michael stopped pacing. What do you mean? We dated. Years ago, before I met you. Before I even moved to this city. The words came faster now, desperate to be free. It was in college, just for a few months during my junior year. He was intense from the start, romantic, but possessive. When I tried to break up with him, he wouldn't accept it. He showed up at my dorm, my classes, my parents' house. It got so bad I had to get a restraining order. Sarah. I thought I was free when I graduated and moved here. That was 5 years ago, Michael. 5 years of peace. I rebuilt my life, met you, got married. I never told you because I thought it was over, that he was part of a past I'd left behind. Tears streamed down her face. Then 8 months ago, he showed up at my office. He'd gotten a job in my department. He acted like we were old friends, like nothing had happened. And I froze. Michael felt the floor shift beneath him. He followed you across the country. He planned this. I think so. That first day, he cornered me in the break room and said, "Isn't it amazing how fate brings people back together?" He had this smile, God, that smile, like we shared some wonderful secret. Sarah's voice turned hollow. I went to HR immediately, but what could I say? That I dated him years ago and was uncomfortable? They asked if he'd done anything inappropriate. He hadn't, not then. He was careful. The messages on Sarah's phone told a calculated story. David had spent months building a narrative of friendly co-worker interactions, public and documented. But the private messages revealed his true obsession. He referenced their college relationship constantly, insisting they were meant to be together, that Sarah's marriage was a temporary obstacle. Why didn't you tell me? Michael's voice cracked. We could have handled this together. Because I was ashamed. Sarah's anguish filled the kitchen. I'm supposed to be strong, capable. And here I was, terrorized by an ex-boyfriend like some cliché. Plus, there was this tiny, horrible voice in my head, the one David put there, that said you'd blame me. That you'd wonder what I'd done to make him this obsessed. That you'd see me differently. Michael knelt before her again, taking her hands firmly. Listen to me. None of this is your fault. This man is sick, dangerous. We're going to stop him, but I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Sarah nodded, but her eyes darted to her phone as it buzzed again. Michael, there's more. The restraining order from college. I found out last month that it expired years ago, and I never renewed it. I didn't think I needed to. David knows this. He mentioned it in a message, said we could finally be together without legal complications. Michael's jaw clenched. We're getting a new restraining order. Today. It won't stop him. It didn't before. Sarah's defeat was crushing. He sees legal boundaries as challenges. The more I push him away, the more convinced he becomes that we're star-crossed lovers fighting against the world. Michael stood, pulling out his own phone. Then we document everything. Every message, every sighting, every opened window. We build a case so airtight the police can't ignore it. He paused, a thought occurring to him. Sarah, has he ever been inside the house? Her silence was answer enough. When? Michael's voice was dangerously quiet. I'm not sure. Maybe never. Maybe multiple times. Sarah's hands twisted together. 3 weeks ago, I came home from work and something felt wrong. Nothing I could point to exactly, just a feeling. Then I found my wedding photo on the nightstand turned face down. I thought maybe I'd knocked it over rushing that morning, but... She met his eyes. That's when the messages changed. He started describing our bedroom. Michael. He knew about the blue comforter we just bought, the book on your nightstand, the crack in the ceiling above the bed. Michael's hands trembled as he dialed 911, but Sarah snatched the phone from him. Wait, she pleaded. There's something I haven't told you yet. Something that changes everything. What could possibly change anything at this point? Michael's voice was steel, his protective instincts fully engaged. Sarah walked to the kitchen drawer and pulled out a manila folder, worn at the edges from handling. Inside were printed emails, screenshots, and documents, a paper trail she'd been compiling in secret. Last week, I hired a private investigator. I used money from my old savings account, the one you don't have access to. I'm sorry for hiding it, but I needed to know who David really is now. She spread the documents across the kitchen table. Michael's eyes widened as he read. David Chen, his real identity was far more disturbing than either of them had imagined. The PI had uncovered a pattern spanning a decade. 3 other women, 3 other cities, 3 other relationships that followed the same script. Emily Rodriguez in Seattle, he was her TA in graduate school. She got a restraining order after he broke into her apartment. Jennifer Walsh in Portland, they worked together at a tech startup. She transferred to another state after he sent her family members photos of her daily activities. Amanda Lee in Sacramento, she was a yoga instructor he became obsessed with. She disappeared for 6 months before resurfacing in Canada with a new identity. Michael's face paled. He's done this before. Multiple times. And he's escalating, Sarah said, her voice steadier now that the truth was finally emerging. Each situation ended badly. Emily's car was vandalized. Jennifer found dead animals on her porch. Amanda, Sarah's voice caught. Amanda was hospitalized after a random mugging that the police never solved. The PI found hospital records showing her injuries were consistent with targeted assault. Michael's mind raced through possibilities, legal options, escape plans. We're leaving. Right now. We pack a bag and go to a hotel, somewhere he can't find us, while we figure this out. He'll find us. He always does. Sarah's resignation was born from months of calculated stalking. Look at this. She showed him a document from the PI, David's financial records, obtained through questionable means but revealing nonetheless. He has GPS tracking software subscriptions, multiple burner phones, and withdrawals that suggest he's paying for information. Michael, I think he's tracking my phone, possibly my car. Michael moved to the window, carefully peering through the curtains. The street appeared normal, neighbors walking dogs, a postal truck making deliveries, children waiting for the school bus. But somewhere in that normalcy lurked David, watching, waiting. Then we use it against him, Michael said suddenly. We know he's watching. We control the narrative. Sarah looked at him questioningly. We make him reveal himself. Force him into a situation where he can't hide behind deniability. Michael's background in corporate security was kicking in, his strategic mind finding patterns and solutions. He's careful when he thinks he's in control. But what happens when he thinks he's losing you? Michael, that's dangerous. Everything about this situation is dangerous. Michael's frustration boiled over. This man has been terrorizing you for months. He's been in our home, Sarah. Our bedroom. He's watching us right now, probably getting off on your fear. I'm done being reactive. We need to be proactive. Sarah considered this, her analytical mind, the one that made her excellent at her job, engaging with the problem. What are you proposing? We go to your office. Together. We confront him publicly, where there are witnesses and cameras. We make him lose his composure, get him to reveal his obsession in front of people who can't dismiss it. Then we have grounds for a restraining order that will actually mean something. He's too smart for that. He'll just play the concerned co-worker, make me look unstable. Not if we bait him correctly. Michael was warming to the plan. What's the one thing he can't stand? Based on these messages, what triggers him most? Sarah scrolled through months of messages, seeing the pattern. Whenever she mentioned Michael, talked about her marriage, expressed happiness in her life without David, his responses became more aggressive, less controlled. Us. Our marriage. The fact that I chose you. Exactly. Michael pulled her close. So we show him what he can't have. We walk in there as a united front, and we tell him together that you're filing a police report, getting a restraining order, and that I know everything. We tell him it's over, that his fantasy is dead. And if he snaps, then we have witnesses. Then he reveals himself for what he is. Michael cupped her face. Sarah, I know you're scared. But hiding hasn't worked. Asking him nicely to stop hasn't worked. Sometimes the only way to deal with a bully is to stand up to them in the light. Sarah's phone buzzed again. I'm worried about you two having such an intense conversation. Everything okay? Remember, I'm always here if you need to talk, Sarah. Unlike some people, I actually listen. The manipulation was brazen now that David knew his cover was blown. He was inserting himself into their private moment, reminding Sarah that he was always present, always watching. Let's do it, Sarah said suddenly, her fear transforming into anger. I'm tired of being afraid in my own home. I'm tired of checking locks and jumping at shadows. If we're going to end this, let's end it today. Michael kissed her forehead. We'll stop by the police station first, file a formal report with all this evidence. Then we go to your office. I'll be with you the entire time. As they gathered the documents and prepared to leave, Sarah felt something shift inside her. For months, she'd been David's victim, reacting to his moves, dancing to his twisted tune. But Michael was right. It was time to change the game. They didn't notice the figure across the street, sitting in a nondescript sedan, watching through telephoto lens as they loaded papers into Michael's car. David Chen smiled, his phone in hand, already typing a new message. Going somewhere? Don't worry, I'll find you. I always do. The police station had been simultaneously validating and frustrating. Detective Martinez took their statement seriously, especially given the PI's documentation and the pattern of behavior across multiple victims. But legal reality was stark. Without concrete evidence of breaking and entering, explicit threats, or physical assault, their options were limited. We can file for a restraining order based on the stalking evidence, Martinez had explained, but these take time to process. In the meantime, I'm assigning extra patrols to your neighborhood. Document everything, keep your phones on you, screenshot messages immediately, note any sightings with times and locations. Now, at 10:47 a.m., Sarah and Michael sat in the parking lot of Meridian Tech Solutions, watching employees enter the modern glass building. Sarah's hands were clasped tightly in her lap, her breathing shallow. We don't have to do this, Michael said softly. We can turn around right now. No. Sarah's voice was firm despite her fear. You were right. This ends today, one way or another. They'd called ahead, requesting an emergency meeting with Sarah's supervisor and HR. Michael had been clear on the phone. This was regarding workplace harassment and stalking, and they had documentation. HR had agreed immediately, no doubt concerned about liability. The building's lobby was pristine, all chrome and ambient lighting. Sarah's co-workers greeted her normally, unaware of the storm brewing. A few glanced curiously at Michael, recognizing him from company events. They took the elevator to the 4th floor, where Sarah's department sprawled across an open-plan office. That's when she saw him. David was at his desk, headphones on, apparently absorbed in work. But Sarah knew better. She saw the slight tension in his shoulders, the way his eyes tracked their reflection in his monitor. He knew they were there. Sarah. Michael. Karen Chen from HR approached with forced brightness, gesturing toward a conference room. We've got room 4B set up for our meeting. Tom from legal is joining us as well. As they walked past David's desk, he looked up and smiled. It was a perfectly calibrated expression, friendly, slightly confused, professionally appropriate. Sarah. Everything okay? You sounded stressed in your messages last night. His eyes flicked to Michael. Good to see you again, Michael. Last time was the Christmas party, right? The performance was flawless. To anyone listening, he sounded like a concerned co-worker. But Sarah heard the undertones, saw the possessive gleam in his eyes. We need to talk, David, Sarah said, surprised by her own steady voice. In the conference room. Now. His smile faltered for just a second. Of course. Though I'm not sure what this is about. Is there a problem with the Reynolds account? Karen intervened, professional but firm. David, please join us in 4B. The conference room felt too small with 6 people inside. Sarah, Michael, Karen, Tom from legal, Sarah's supervisor Rajesh, and David. Michael had insisted on recording the conversation on his phone, placed prominently on the table. Tom had consented, noting it for the record. Sarah laid out the documents methodically. The messages, progression from professional to personal to obsessive. The late-night texts, the references to private information. The PI's report on David's history, the pattern of stalking behavior across multiple women in multiple cities. David's expression cycled through emotions. Surprise, hurt, confusion. Sarah, I think there's been a huge misunderstanding. We worked together closely on several projects. I thought we were friends. If I've made you uncomfortable, I sincerely apologize, but I think you're misinterpreting friendly. Explain this. Michael slid a screenshot across the table. It was from 2 nights ago, 2:37 a.m. I can see you sleeping. You look peaceful. Someday you'll understand that we're meant to be together. Your bedroom is beautiful, by the way. The blue comforter suits you. The room went silent. Karen's face paled. Rajesh leaned forward, reading the message carefully. Tom made notes. David didn't miss a beat. That was taken out of context. It was part of a creative writing exercise Sarah and I were discussing. She mentioned wanting to write short stories, and I was sending examples of first-person perspective. Obviously, the timestamp is concerning, and I apologize for messaging so late. I have insomnia and sometimes lose track of time. That's a lie, Sarah said firmly. We never discussed creative writing. And you describe our actual bedroom, furniture we just purchased, books on the nightstand, specific details you couldn't know unless you'd been inside. Sarah, I think you're under a lot of stress. I know your project deadlines have been intense. David's voice dripped with false concern. Sometimes when we're overwhelmed, we misremember conversations or read too much into innocent interactions. What about Emily Rodriguez, Jennifer Walsh, and Amanda Lee? Michael interjected. Do those names sound familiar? For the first time, David's composure cracked. His jaw tightened, his eyes hardened. I don't know what you're talking about. 3 women in 3 different cities. 3 restraining orders. 1 hospitalization. Michael pushed the PI's report across the table. You've done this before. This is a pattern. David stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. This is insane. You've hired someone to investigate me. This is harassment. I'm the victim here. He turned to Karen and Tom. I've tried to be friendly to Sarah, to help her adjust to our department, and this is what I get? Accusations and conspiracy theories. Sit down, David, Tom said quietly. The lawyer's calm demeanor didn't waver. We're going to need you to provide your versions of events, explain these messages, and address the allegations about your previous employment. I don't have to explain anything. This is a hostile work environment. I'm calling my lawyer. David grabbed his phone, but his hands were shaking now. The mask was slipping. You were at our house, Sarah said, standing to face him. You've been watching us. You opened our windows, moved our things, invaded our privacy. You're sick, David. You need help. I love you. David's shout echoed in the small room. I've always loved you. We were perfect together until you threw it away for no reason. I've been patient, giving you time to realize your mistake, but you're too stubborn to see that we belong together. The room froze. David seemed to realize what he'd said, how he'd exposed himself. His face flushed red, a mixture of rage and embarrassment. I think we're done here, Tom said, standing. David, you're suspended effective immediately pending an investigation. Security will escort you from the building. You're not to contact Sarah or Michael through any means. Karen, please initiate the formal harassment investigation protocol. David's eyes locked onto Sarah, and for a moment, she saw the depth of his delusion, the absolute conviction that they were destined to be together, that her rejection was merely a temporary obstacle. This isn't over, he said quietly. You can't just erase what we had. What we have. We never had anything, Sarah replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. And now, we never will. Security arrived within minutes. As they escorted David out, he twisted in their grip to look back at Sarah. You're making a mistake. I'm the only one who really understands you. When he was gone, Sarah's legs gave out. Michael caught her, holding her as she shook. It's done, he whispered. You did it. But as they left the building 30 minutes later, armed with incident reports and corporate support for their restraining order application, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that David's final words weren't a plea, they were a promise. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, new phone. You can't silence me. See you soon. The restraining order was filed that afternoon, with the outburst at Sarah's office providing the concrete evidence Detective Martinez needed. A judge granted a temporary order within hours, with a full hearing scheduled for the following week. But Sarah and Michael both knew paper wouldn't stop David Chen. They didn't go home. Instead, they checked into a hotel across town, paying cash and registering under Michael's middle name. Michael disabled their phone's location services and pulled the batteries from their devices, paranoid about tracking. Sarah contacted her parents and Michael's family, warning them about David, sending photos so they'd recognize him. For 2 days, they lived in a strange limbo, ordering room service, watching the news, jumping at every sound in the hallway. Detective Martinez kept them updated. David had been fired from Meridian Tech. His apartment had been searched, revealing wall-to-wall photos of Sarah, maps of her daily routines, and disturbing journal entries, and a warrant was issued for stalking and criminal trespass. But David had vanished. He's not at his apartment, not with family, not using his credit cards, Martinez told them over the phone. We've put out a bolo, but he's gone underground. These types sometimes do. They retreat, regroup, and that's when they're most dangerous. On the third night, Sarah couldn't take it anymore. We can't live like this forever. Hiding in hotels, looking over our shoulders. We have jobs, a life. We can't let him steal that from us. Michael understood. Fear could become its own prison. They made arrangements, security cameras for the house, new locks, a monitored alarm system, and Michael's brother, a Marine Corps veteran, would stay with them temporarily. They informed neighbors, gave them David's photo, created a network of eyes. Returning home felt surreal. Everything looked normal, untouched, yet violated by the knowledge of David's presence. The security company worked quickly, installing cameras at every entrance, motion sensors in the yard, and panic buttons in the bedroom and kitchen. That first night back, Sarah lay awake listening to every creak and settling sound. Michael kept a bat beside the bed, his phone charged and ready. They'd become warriors in their own home, fighting an enemy who attacked through fear and violation. Days passed. Then a week. Life began to normalize, cautiously, carefully. Sarah worked remotely while HR investigated further, uncovering that David had falsified parts of his resume and work history. The full restraining order was granted. Detective Martinez reported possible sightings in neighboring states, suggesting David might have fled the jurisdiction. Sarah began to breathe easier. Maybe it was over. Maybe David had finally accepted defeat and moved on to torture someone else. A terrible thought, but honest. Then, on a Friday evening 2 weeks after the confrontation, Sarah came home from her first day back at the office to find Michael's car in the driveway but the house eerily quiet. "Michael," she called, disarming the security system. The cameras showed nothing unusual. Michael had arrived home 30 minutes earlier, and no one else had approached the house. She found him in the kitchen, pale and shaking, holding a box wrapped in brown paper. "It was on the counter when I got home," he said. "The security system shows me entering, but not disappearing." "Sarah, I think he was already inside." With trembling hands, Sarah opened the box. Inside was her wedding photo, the one from their bedroom, but Sarah's face had been replaced with a photo of someone else. A young woman with dark hair. Sarah's heart stopped as she recognized her from the Pies report. Amanda Lee, the woman who'd been hospitalized and fled to Canada. Beneath the photo was a note in careful handwriting. She ran too. "I found her. You can't escape us, Sarah. We're inevitable." Sarah's phone rang. Unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered, putting it on speaker. "Hello, Sarah." David's voice was calm, almost cheerful. "I see you found my gift. Did you like it?" "Where are you?" Michael demanded. "How did you get in?" "I'm always close by. You can't lock me out with cameras and alarms. I know this house better than you do. I've had months to learn its secrets." A pause. "Did you really think some corporate security theater would stop me?" Detective Martinez had given them a protocol for this exact scenario. Keep him talking, trace the call, record everything. Sarah activated the recording app, making sure Martinez was on their emergency contact list. "David, this has to stop," Sarah said, forcing her voice steady. "You're facing criminal charges. You've lost your job. The restraining order is active. Every call, every contact adds to your sentence. If you stop now, if you get help, maybe." "Maybe what?" His laugh was bitter. "Maybe I can move on. Find someone new." "Sarah, you don't understand. There is no one new. There's only ever been you. Since college, every day, every moment, it's all been about us. I've structured my entire life around you." "That's not love, David. That's obsession. It's illness. Call it what you want." His voice dropped, intimate and chilling. "I know you better than Michael ever will. I know you bite your lower lip when you're nervous. I know you reorganize the kitchen cabinets when you're stressed. I know you still have that stuffed bear from your childhood in your closet. I know you." "You know nothing about me," Sarah said, anger overriding fear. "You know routines and habits you've observed. You've studied me like an insect under glass. But you don't know my dreams, my thoughts, my actual self. Because you've never cared enough to ask, you only care about possessing me." Silence on the line. Then, "You're right. I don't know everything. Not yet. But I will. We have time, Sarah. All the time in the world." "Why are you calling?" Michael interjected. "What do you want?" "I want Sarah to understand that this isn't over. That it will never be over. You can run, hide, build walls, but I'll always find ways through. Because unlike you, Michael, I'm patient. I'm dedicated. I'm willing to sacrifice everything." Sarah felt something shift inside her, a clarity born from weeks of terror crystallizing into resolve. "Then let me make something clear to you, David. I will never be with you. Not today, not ever. You can stalk me for the rest of your life, and the answer will always be no. You've wasted years of your life on a fantasy that will never become reality. And the tragedy isn't what you've done to me, it's what you've done to yourself." "Sarah, I'm done being afraid of you. Yes, you might hurt me. You might even kill me. But you'll never have me. My heart, my love, my life, they belong to me, and I've chosen to share them with Michael. Not because he's perfect, but because he sees me as a person, not a possession. You had a chance once to be someone I cared about, and you destroyed it with your inability to respect my autonomy. That's on you, not me. Michael squeezed her hand, pride and fear warring on his face. David's voice, when it came, was different, smaller, almost wounded. I just want to be loved. Then find a therapist, not a victim, Sarah said. Turn yourself in. Get help. Stop trying to force people into roles in your fantasy. Real love requires two willing participants, David. And I'm not willing. The line went dead. For a long moment, they stood in their kitchen, uncertain whether Sarah's words had penetrated or provoked. Then Michael pulled her into his arms, and she finally let herself collapse, the adrenaline draining away. Detective Martinez arrived within 20 minutes, having traced the call to a location 3 blocks away. Police swarmed the area, a vacant house for sale, signs of temporary habitation, but David was gone. This time, however, he'd made a mistake. He'd stayed on the call too long. Security footage from a nearby convenience store captured him leaving the area, providing the first confirmed sighting in weeks. The manhunt intensified. News outlets picked up the story. Serial stalker terrorizes tech worker, and suddenly David's face was everywhere. Tips poured in. His freedom to move unnoticed evaporated under public scrutiny. 2 days later, he was apprehended at a bus station in Nevada, attempting to flee to Mexico. Seeing his photo on a news broadcast, a vigilant security guard recognized him and called police. David didn't resist. He simply asked if Sarah knew he'd been thinking of her. The trial took months. Sarah testified, as did Emily, Jennifer, and Amanda, who'd been located in Toronto and flown back to provide evidence. The prosecution built an overwhelming case: stalking across multiple jurisdictions, criminal trespass, harassment, violation of restraining orders, and attempted kidnapping based on equipment found in his possession. David's defense tried to paint him as mentally ill, lovesick, more sad than dangerous. But the jury saw through it. The verdict was unanimous: guilty on all counts. Sentencing brought him 15 years with mandatory psychological treatment. At the sentencing hearing, the judge allowed Sarah to speak. She stood, looking at David one final time. He stared at her with that same obsessive intensity, as if even now he believed they shared something profound. I don't forgive you, Sarah said clearly. But I do pity you. You traded your freedom, your future, your entire life for a fantasy. That's not love, that's self-destruction. I hope that someday, in prison, with proper treatment, you'll finally understand that other people aren't characters in your story. They're authors of their own lives. David opened his mouth to respond, but Sarah had already turned away. She walked out of the courtroom hand in hand with Michael, stepping into sunshine that felt warmer than it had in months. Recovery wasn't instantaneous. Sarah attended therapy, working through the violation and fear. She changed jobs, finding a position at a smaller firm where she could start fresh. She and Michael sold their house, too many bad memories, and bought a condo with better security and no windows that opened unexpectedly. But slowly, life returned. Not the same life, they'd been changed by the experience, but a new life built on hard-won wisdom. They became advocates for stalking victims, sharing their story to help others recognize warning signs. They learned to trust again, slowly rebuilding the sense of safety that David had stolen. On their 4th anniversary, Sarah and Michael stood on a beach at sunset, renewing their vows. This time, it felt different, not naive promises of young love, but tempered commitments forged through fire. They'd faced darkness together and emerged stronger. To surviving, Michael toasted with champagne. To living, Sarah corrected, kissing him. Behind them, the waves erased their footprints, the past washing away with the tide. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but they'd face them together, not as victims, but as survivors who'd reclaimed their story from someone who tried to write it for them. And somewhere, in a prison cell, David Chen stared at a photo of Sarah, still not understanding that love without consent isn't love at all, it's just another word for theft. But Sarah no longer thought about what David understood. She was too busy living the life she'd chosen, surrounded by people who loved her for who she was, not who they wanted her to be. The nightmare was over. The healing had begun. And that, finally, was enough.